From the central coast of New South Wales, Australia, it's the #1 podcast for the X-Men animated series. This is Generation X-Men with Bender and Brooksy.
Yes, it is. This is Generation X-Men. I'm Bender, and with me as always is Brooksy.
Hey, hey.
Like the name suggests, we are Generation X-Men, and you are too. If you're new to this, what we'll be doing is going through all 5 seasons of X-Men, the animated series, one episode at a time, giving you our thoughts, X-Quiz, tally time, most importantly, having a laugh as well. Now, Savage Land Strange Heart Part 2. We're back for the not-so-thrilling finale of Storm versus Sauron versus Garrock. Marvel movie news returns. The internet's been abuzz about X-Men coming into the MCU. So what we're going to do is go through some of who the internet thinks should be cast in the MCU's version of X-Men and who me and Brooksy think should be in it. Other than that, there's been nothing but delays with Marvel movies. So, not much to talk about this week in terms of Marvel movie news, but we'll try and stretch it out with an open discussion. And I don't think there's that much to talk about with Savage Land Strange Heart Part 2, Brooksy. Because
nothing quite much to dig into, no.
There's not a lot to sink your teeth into here other than to resolve all the issues that were brought up in Part 1. Starting to sort of feel that the Part 2s aren't really delivering on what's been set up in the Part 1. I mean, it could be an unfair sort of claim for me to say that, but I've always, I think Time Fugitives Part 2 is the only one I was like, that was a good wrap-up. That lived up to the questions or challenges that were brought up in Part 1. Generation Mailbag returns with some general feedback, but before we break it all down, it's time for X-Quiz.
Pop quiz, Hotshot.
Pop quiz!
Pop quiz, asshole.
Time for a surprise quiz.
Won't be a pop quiz on Wednesday. There's a pop quiz. Pop quiz.
Now that's a very quick intro, Brooksy, because like I said, there's not too much going on, and you're saying this has been a bit dry for X-Quiz this
This was
week.
terrible for X-Quiz. There was no hidden anything, no Easter eggs, there was nothing.
No Easter eggs.
Just had to make up terrible
You
questions.
have to make up colours and tallies.
That's it. That's all I've got.
Oh, well, how many X-Quiz questions do you have?
I ended up scrounging up 4 terrible questions.
Well, you've done better than me. I've got 2. Let's see what overlaps
We've probably
here.
got the same ones.
I'm curious to see, especially this first one that I got here. I'm curious to see if you've picked this one as well. So go ahead, Brooks, see if there's overlap.
My first question is, what colour is Zaladane's lipstick?
Oh, right. Well, I didn't pay attention to that, but I didn't make that one of my questions, but I did notice that she was wearing a certain shade of lipstick. It was yellow, I believe.
Correct.
All right. During the episode, there are many different species of dinosaur that appear.
Right.
How many of them are there, and can you name any of them?
So there's a Tyrannosaurus.
That's right.
There's the Stegosaurus.
Mm-hmm.
There's pterodactyls or
Yep.
pterodons, what do you want to call it?
Yeah.
Brachiosaurus
Mm-hmm.
or Brontosaurus or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I think that's all the ones I could see.
There was one more.
There was one more?
I had 5 all up. And I was going to say, I'd take Brachiosaurus or Brontosaurus, but I also would have taken Diplodocus because you can't really tell
No.
with these ones because there's no horn on their head and whatever, and they all have tails. But there was one more.
There was one more?
I didn't think you'd get it because I didn't get the name of it because it wasn't named in any of the Jurassic Park movies. It wasn't really featured either.
Right.
It is called the Ankylosaurus.
Okay.
It's the one with the armor on the back and it's got a big hammer tail.
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
The one that wasn't in any of the Jurassic Park movies.
That wasn't in one of the movies?
It was in Jurassic Park 3, I believe, when they're going down the boat and they go and have a drink of water at the bank there. But they never mention its name.
Never came into contact with
No, there was no pompadours or one of the big red horns.
Tuck.
Friar Tuck. There's no Friar Tuck, whatever that one was called.
Elvis.
So yeah, those are 2. Those okay. Oh, yeah, those are 2 of my questions. I think I said I had 3, right? Or 2 was a part 2.
You said you had 2.
Well, I got another one. How's that?
My next question is, how many villagers were worshipping
There
the
goes my
golden idol at night?
I got, how many villagers were worshipping Garrock? I got 7.
7. I had
That's
17.
Good. I was like, oh, that's a good one. I bet she's got it.
So another question I had: what color were Storm's eyes flashing when she was going crazy?
That is an interesting one because they're normally yellow when she's got her her powers firing on full cylinder, but I doubt they'd repeat that color. Sauron's a purple. Thingo's lipstick was yellow. I'm going to lock in that glowing green.
Correct.
Outstanding.
Flashing green.
Yeah, it's the right sort of sickly sort of colour for Storm.
And my last tally was: how many Garrock heads does Storm destroy?
Oh boy. She wakes up and she wrecks that one that they're praying to. She wrecks the other one after he says, "How dare you challenge me?" I think there's only 2.
There was 3.
3. When was the other one? Do you know?
Sometime during the episode.
Oh, okay.
There's one that she froze to death.
Yeah, that's the
There was
challenge one.
She destroyed one at the start of the episode.
Yeah, that's
then
the one.
she woke up and then destroyed
Okay, that's the
another
one I missed. The very first one.
I want to know whether it's the same Garrock head or these many Garrock heads around the Savage
I
Land.
imagine they're multiple Garrock heads.
Because then Zaladane just has to keep moving all the time. Oh, man. He rocked his self.
I have to chisel out another Garrock head. I think Garrock made them pop up everywhere, kind of like these little medallions that he puts around people's necks.
There's many of them too.
Is that it for X Quiz?
That's all I've got.
All right, outstanding.
Previously on X-Men.
So we do get a previously on X-Men today.
Mm-hmm.
And this one goes for 1 minute and 2 seconds.
I was wondering if you were gonna clock it this time.
Always do. This one very long.
Very long.
Yeah, so usually about 30 seconds, double the time.
See, I'm thinking this episode ran heaps short.
Yeah.
Because we'll talk about it in depth later, but there's a flashback sequence with a lot of stock footage. It's like, man, this is going on for so long. They could have told this part very quickly, but I think this episode came in real short.
So pretty much previous on X-Men is Garrock used Zaladane to use Sauron to bring Storm to the Savage Land so he could grow even more powerful. We do see Zaladane with Sauron and all that sort of jazz at the start. Then we see Sauron absorbing Wolverine's powers, which we both got a bit of a kick out of. And then we see him doing his Hulk transformation.
Yep.
We see him hypnotizing Storm and taking her back to Savage Land.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just see her go crazy and fly through the roof of the Citadel. And then it ends with, Garrock's will be done.
Well, I thought they'd get in another shot of the transformation sequence because it is so
It's pretty cool.
Because very money. That's a lot of money went into that. So we've got to squeeze out that shot as much as we can because it appears later on in the episode again.
Yeah, again, that's right.
So this took 4 weeks to animate. We've got to show it 3 times.
Break it down, my fuzz.
Break it down! Break it down!
Now it's time for a breakdown.
Breakdown! Go ahead, give it to me. Breakdown. Where is she?
So today we are doing episode number 39. Now, I should have mentioned at the end of last episode that with 38 episodes gone, that's halfway through the season.
We're halfway through.
So, yeah. We're
Happy Hump Day, everybody.
right in the middle of season 3.
Another thing we always keep forgetting to do is our anniversary. We missed the
Okay,
year
yeah,
anniversary and we missed the 2nd year anniversary. So August 2, write down your calendars, everybody. We're going to do something for the 3rd anniversary of Generation X-Men. I can't believe it's gone so fast.
Yeah.
How's this 3 years already?
Hopefully we can have a party by then.
There will be party. There'll be party.
So yeah, today, episode 39, season 3, episode 9, Savage Land, Strange Heart, part 2. The original air date for this one was September 17, 1994. Now, number 1 song in Australia. We've got a new one.
Oh, I'm so excited. What's coming?
It sounds like you're about to guess or something.
No, my mind went totally blank and I'm just eager for the answer.
It's Kylie Minogue, Confide in Me.
Confide in Me? How the hell does that go? I don't know. Never heard of that.
You'll have to
Is it one sort of
YouTube it.
Must be one of her quiet songs or something like that.
So this is
Number 1.
week number 1 of her 4-week run at number 1.
Ooh, solid month.
Movies that came out this week, there were 3 that were of interest.
Mm.
Do you want to have a guess? At any of
94.
them?
I'm just going to rattle off what I said last time.
It's not any of them.
It's not any of them.
No.
And it's 94.
Yeah.
Shit, I wouldn't have a clue as to what came out in 94. That's not those big movies. Give me a hint. What genre is it?
So we got. How can I say this? I don't want to give it away too quickly.
Yeah, just say what genre it is.
So there's a comedy, there's an action, there's 2 action movies.
Comedy and 2 action movies, 1994.
Yes.
Is it Flintstones?
No.
Damn it, I really want to nail that. 94.
It's black and white comedy movie.
Oh, what? Is it Ed Wood?
No.
That Tobey Maguire one where he's in colour but the other people aren't.
Is it Pleasantville?
That's Pleasantville. It's Pleasantville.
It's not Pleasantville.
Black and white, and it's not Pleasantville or Ed Wood comedy.
No.
Oh, shit. Clerks.
Close.
You're not allowed to rent here anymore. Yeah. Wow. How about that?
So yes, Clerks came out this year.
94.
There was a young Natalie Portman movie.
Natalie Portman in 1994.
Very young.
Is it Leon?
Leon
The Professional? Yeah.
And a Van Damme movie.
It's a Street Fighter.
No.
Sudden Impact?
No.
Universal Soldier?
No. You got to go through a wall.
Nowhere to Run.
No.
That's for 93. Fuck. Nah, yeah. Ooh. Nah, I got no idea. Give us a hint. Oh, Time Cop.
That's the one.
Should have guessed that. Should have known that.
So yes.
But I very rarely watch that. Oh, that's a piece of shit, that.
So another good week for movies again.
Yeah, all right. It's all right. They with Leon,
Clerks, Tom.
Clerks, and Time Cop. Clerks. 94, eh?
Mm.
See, I only ever remember seeing advertisements for Mallrats.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
they were in all the comic books because it was like a comic book sort of
Yeah.
bantery sort of movie with that sort of stuff in it. Like there's references to Batman and Stan Lee's cameo. And
Yeah, I remember a lot more of Strikes Back being in like every before every movie.
I remember it being on a lot of my VHS
Yeah,
tapes as
that's
the
what I
previews.
mean.
That's where I put on,
Yeah.
when Video Easy would have a sale, you buy a whole bunch of tapes for like $2.
Yeah.
For some reason, every time I put a tape on, is that the preview for Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back.
Yep.
Don't say nothing, especially you. That's pretty funny. So, Action Gus?
You said that last week.
Yeah, that's the best bit out of the whole movie. Clitoris Israel, female orgasm, that's the myth. Should be doing Clerks lines. It came out in 94. I've run dry on Clerks lines after my big...
Can't rent it.
You're not allowed to rent here anymore. Yeah!
That's the best one.
That's the best bit in the movie, I reckon. There's one shot.
Okay, so this episode was written by the same people that wrote the first episode, Robert Ensker and Marty Eisenberg.
Mm-hmm.
It's directed by Larry Houston.
On your Larry.
So we pick up straight where we left off at the end of the last episode. Sorry. And Storm's rage wins. Your mistress craves more. Crazy Carl explains it's Sauron's doing, and it's his hypnotic powers that have taken away her self-control. Jubilee then springs into action because I think she's just like, oh yeah, remember how good I was last episode? I'm still going to be that good. Watch me work.
She's still got a confidence boost from killing Sauron the first time.
So she comes flying up on the Sky Rider towards Storm, and she's like, foolish child, be gone. And with very little effort, off the Sky Rider into imminent death. Luckily, Rogue's following her behind.
Yeah, Jungle Jubilee, as she proclaimed, did not stand a chance.
Jubilee of the jungle just shakes her head.
She was very confident.
Yeah.
Confidence was, however, misplaced.
Zaladane again here is praying to a Garrock head who is halfway through explaining how Storm's elemental power is feeding him when Storm flies in and just blows the head up with lightning. So that's the first one. The rock pieces sort of like T-1000 themselves into like some goo and then like dissolve into the ground.
That's the sort of go-to, because it's a cool thing to animate, I imagine. You see the rocks melt and then they become one. I mean, it's an iconic scene from Terminator 2. Why not try and replicate it in animation form?
The ground then starts to go like silver or grey, and then it starts to spread across the savage land. And we hear, "It has begun." Come back from the break, Storm's still flying around. She's like nailing cliffs with lightning bolts and just pissing off all these dinosaurs.
Yeah, she's going absolutely apeshit, just wrecking everything.
Wolverine then pops claws and threatens Lycos.
All right, Lycos. What did you do to make Storm wig out like this?
And he's like, "I did nothing. Sauron took away her control." "You are Sauron, dickhead."
Wasn't me, it was the butterfly. It was the one-armed man.
Wasn't me, it was Batman that did it. And then all of a sudden the ground starts to shake. And Beast says, "Has Storm added earthquakes to her meteorological repertoire?" Wolverine says, "This ain't no earthquake. Run. It's a stampede."
Wolverine's always the first to know. Jumanji reference. When did that come out? I'm sure that's just around the corner.
Yeah, that
too.
was 90-something.
I'd say 96.
You just got to think of how young Kirsten Dunst is. And then you're like, yes, yeah. She's nowhere near Spider-Man at this age.
She's nowhere near Spider-Man, but she's far from Interview with a Vampire.
It's true.
So she's right in the middle.
Yeah.
Her career sort of dropped off, didn't it?
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3 and that's it.
Yeah, what's she been in?
Who cares? She's been in Hollywood trying.
Sneak peek, she is not going to be in who we think should be in the MCU.
Not for the Spider-Man either.
So the team then escapes into a cave that's they found in the cliff. Kazar seems to know where this cave is.
Suddenly cave.
It just appears. And Wolverine has a bit of a joke line here. "Boy, that rush hour traffic is murder, isn't it?"
I missed that one. I would have thought I would have wrote that down.
Yeah, well, that's when they're sitting in the cave. But they need a plan. Kazar's worried that all these people are going to die, so they need to do something.
He's always worried about his people.
These are my people. Rogue decides that she should fly up there and absorb Storm's powers and stop all the destruction. Wolverine says, "And we'll have you messing up the weather from here to Barbados." I don't think so.
Oh, is that what Rogue was going to go up there and take the power?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that's why she
Rogue's
did
plan
it.
at the start.
Oh, right.
And then Wolverine's not happy about that.
Wolverine puts kibosh on that.
Beast thinks they are stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, but he phrased it in a really weird way.
He did. Crazy Carl then pipes up, "Oh, I can do it."
Sure you can.
Wolverine's not in his plan at all. He's like, "Yes, he become Sauron, you bastard. Get out of here."
I'm sure he didn't say that.
Crazy Carl says he doesn't want to be Sauron again. He's a monster. And he hates him when he has to be Sauron.
All right, so he's really more or less saying, I don't want this. Sauron doesn't want this. Well, so he's not in his head to say, he's not going out of his way to do that. He's trying to help out.
Yeah, that's how he's going to help. But Beast believes him here. He says if he really wanted to be Sauron, he could have just like patted one of us on the back as soon as he saw
that's
us
right.
and turned straight into him.
That's a good point.
Crazy Carl then says, "Look, this is the way of me righting some of Sauron's wrongs. All right, mate, I'm trying to do something for the team." And Kazar decides, he'd prefer to have Sauron back than have this terrible
weather
rain
witch.
everywhere. He doesn't like getting wet.
No, not about it.
Please, I beg you, allow me to set right the evil Sauron has started.
Outside, Storm is still yelling orders to all of the elements. And she looks like she's putting a new ice age on there. She's freezing all of the dinosaurs. Kazar rolls out the old catapult to try and distract Storm. What are they shooting in these catapults?
It's the garbage.
They look like rocks, but they set them on fire.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't imagine they'd have access to oil or anything like that in these ancient times.
And what is their garbage? Like, they don't have wrappers for anything.
Maybe it's old animal hides they can't use anymore. Old loincloths.
Full of bones.
It's full of bones from all the things they hunt and kill. But who knows? There's a big weather storm going on. And I'm wondering how they're getting this fire started.
Yeah,
to,
it's going to go out straight away. There's no way that's staying there. So, yeah, they're trying to shoot flaming garbage at Storm while Rogue flies overhead with Crazy Carl. And he's just ready there to suck the Storm powers straight out of her.
Mm-hmm. You can guess it's going to go pear-shaped.
So, of course, we know it's going to happen now. He
all
sucks
gonna go.
Storm's power, turns into Sauron.
Lycos, release her before you transform completely!
Never must have more.
Sauron is now back. He then tries to absorb Rogue's power, and Rogue's like, yeah, I wouldn't try that, eh? So then she does have this cool scene where she's still holding Storm, and then he goes for her, and then she manages to grab Sauron as well, which is pretty cool. But he breaks it off and then just grabs it around the neck. And then, do you want to talk about this animation here?
Well, there's a weird sort of swap going on between them when they've got absorbing powers, and her head starts changing into Sauron's head and then back again, kind of like a stretchy sort of animation. It's really weird to see. It's a really weird morph, but I thought that was pretty cool when it happens, because then it just doesn't work and Sauron just breaks away from it. So neither of them are affected by it.
Yeah. The only time this has sort of happened before is when she was getting Angel's powers and her face
she
turned blue.
Yeah. Taking on sort of the characteristics of whoever she's taking the powers from. But yeah, that was a pretty weird scene, that one.
So yeah, I guess their powers just cancelling each other out. The whole Savage Land has now sort of been turned silver or grey. Beast runs back to the Blackbird to grab the first aid kit to help Storm.
Yeah, he's got his utility pack on, his tack pack.
Needs to give her a mild sedative. Beast then asked Rogue if she was able to read Sauron's thoughts. And she grabbed her and she said she could only see one word or name, Zaladane. And then Khazar jumps straight in. She has proclaimed herself the High Priestess of Garrock.
See, I want to know why that was on his mind at all. Is that just
all he's thinking?
It's all he's thinking about, really? Wouldn't it just be, I'm hungry, I need power? Where's the power?
More Storm power.
I want some crack. I thought that'd be what he'd be on his mind. Geez, I'm thirsty. Geez, I'm hungry. Storm's power. Wouldn't be Zaladane. Because he doesn't use a name at all. He just calls a woman all the time.
That's right.
You know? So there's a bit of an obvious plot point there, having Zaladane's name in there.
Yeah. Storm then comes to inside a hut. Wolverine tells her that they would take care of Sauron for her. And Storm says, it's not Sauron, something else, something very wrong. She knows this Garrock. Then she knows this Garrock statue. And she's like, oh no, it's this. And then she destroys it with lightning. So that's another one she's destroyed with lightning. This pisses off the villagers something fierce.
Oh, yeah. They're in the middle of their prayers, and then the Weather Witch blows up their sacred rock face.
So they try to attack her, and she just blows the wind back at them. Piss off.
Stay back. She says that a couple of times in the episode.
Rogue comes up behind her, grabs her from around the back, and then Beast comes in, manages to give her a stronger sedative to knock her out of here.
Yeah, that comes out of his backpack, kind of like a transformer.
I thought it was going to shoot it at her.
Yeah.
It just grabs it.
It pops up kind of like the Predator's plasma rifle over his shoulder, but he just grabs like a syringe out of there and jabs her. Surely there'd be an easier place to keep it, like on a bandolier or something.
Yeah.
Or in gun form, but no, we needed that sort of shoulder mount.
Come on, sugar. Let's get you back to bed.
I said stay back!
Back at another Garrock statue head, Sauron then runs into Zaladane, who's praying to... This must be like a fifth Garrock head. Where's the next one? So Sauron flies down. Zaladane, rally my troops. The invaders must pay for their insolence. Are you deaf, woman? I ordered you.
That's your favourite bit. Are you deaf, woman?
Zaladane just goes, no.
Rally my troops. The invaders must pay for their insolence. Are you deaf, woman? I order you. No.
Yeah, Sauron tells her that Garrock is nothing more than a lifeless stone and that she needs some persuasion, so he starts to give her the old purple eye beams before some of those silvery grey vines appear from behind him and grab him.
Yeah, Garrock's touch is in changing the land and making it all sort of rocky and crystallised and shiny, kind of like the inside of a geode or something like that. But that grabs Sauron, hoists him up, and has him tied up for most of the episode.
Yeah, and he screams out, "What sorcery is this?" Garrock then proclaims, "This stone is not as lifeless as it appears, Sauron." You better work on my Garrock voice.
Garrock. Just talk in the back of your throat and don't open your mouth.
Don't open your teeth.
This stone is not as lifeless as it appears, Sauron.
You do not exist!
But as you can see, I do.
Garrock then explains that in a bygone era, he alone ruled the land before a powerful enemy defeated him.
You should have asked me who that powerful enemy was, because I have no idea who it is.
You have no idea?
Some purple dude. Purple or pink. He's like a robot or something.
It's the High Evolutionary.
The High Evolutionary.
Yes.
What is he? Do you know much about the High Evolutionary?
Not too much, no. I think he's just like the... What's the other one they're always throwing in, the green one? The Super Adaptoid. Always putting that guy in everywhere too.
I don't know who this Super Adaptoid is.
That's the green big guy they're always fighting. I think he's in the Captain America comics all the time.
Oh, right.
So yeah, I've got all High Evolutionary's powers.
All right, yeah.
He's got superhuman strength, superhuman intelligence, superhuman durability, healing factor, telepathic communication, astral protection, self-levitation, mental invisibility, force fields, mass manipulation,
Holy crap.
psychokinesis, concussive force blast, plasmatic rays, total recall memory, artificial evolution, and immortality.
Mate, what an overpowered dude. He is High Evolutionary. That just reminds me of StarCraft when you upgrade a Zerg and it's evolution complete.
Evolution complete.
Fire it up.
It's the only computer game I can quote with you.
Oh, yeah,
It's the
yeah.
only one you ever play.
That's true. I got your Zerg right here. So, yes, Garrock says he was banished to this rocky prison where he lay dormant for thousands of years until one day. So then we cut back here. This one day was back in season 2. Remember that? Because we're just going to see 30 seconds of recycled footage from season 2 and Mr. Sinister.
That's right, yeah.
So we see like the Professor and Sauron psychic battle and bloody Wolverine having 2 claw draws.
And normally when you see these flashbacks or the stock footage, the person talking in the present is talking over that, and it's maybe just sort of like, half transparent to what they're seeing in the now.
Yeah.
They're playing out like full scenes of dialogue that happened in, I think it was Reunion Part 2 or whatever it was. Full scenes where Sauron's hypnotizing him, Mr. Sinister saying what he wants Professor X to do. I was like, man, just play the episode. What are you cutting back to this for?
And we also get the Nasty Boy.
Nasty! Love the Nasty Boys.
And we also see them destroy Sinister, and then they destroy the Citadel.
Yeah, so it's a huge scene out of Reunion Part 2.
It's like 30 seconds of footage.
That's what makes me think this episode must have come in really short, so they had to fill in time.
Cram all the crap in.
Just chuck some stock footage in.
This is when Garrock felt Storm's elemental energy, and he was awoken. Weak, but alive. He needed Storm's power, so it's a total savage fury to become... He needs Storm's power as that total savage fury to become strong again.
Ooh.
Then we get 20 seconds of last episode explaining Garrock's plan all along. So yeah, there's like 20 seconds here now of just all that Sauron turning back into him and all that sort of stuff.
So you got 50 seconds of stock footage plus a minute 7 of previously on X-Men.
Yeah.
So look, round it up. We're about 3 minutes short on this episode.
He says, beneath the volcanoes lie a source of planetary power, the surging force of molten magma that contains the Savage Land's tropical climate. So I guess that sort of makes sense. They are in Antarctica because there's so many volcanoes, makes it so hot. And that's how it survives down there. So that part kind of makes sense.
It's looked at under, it's all machinery and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know what that was
I don't know what's going on there. Is that alien tech, or did Magneto put it there? Or was like, if it's more Magneto, he's a super genius. I don't know where he's getting all this vast knowledge to create this shit, to create the Savage Land, but it would be cool if it had alien origins. If anyone knows the comic book origins of Savage Land, please chime in.
Shoot it through. We'll talk about it next week.
If there's anything before when Magneto showed up, that'd be what I'm most interested in.
Because, I don't think we We go back to Savage Land after this, do we?
No, I don't think we do. I think I'd remember if we went back to Savage Land.
I intend to fuse with that energy. Once I do, no force on Earth will be able to imprison me again.
Back in the hut, Storm is begging to be restrained before she regains all of her strength. Then this silver wave, or like grey wave, or whatever you want to call it, comes over the valley and comes through the village, takes over a cliff, and it changes into Garrock's face. And Garrock says, "Behold, Garrock." We come back from the break again. "Behold, Garrock.
Really drive the point home.
Gaze upon my works and tremble." This opens up a huge crack, like Indiana Jones style.
I was just
Last
thinking
Crusade.
The knight warns not to take the grail from here.
Indiana, let it go.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't sneak any of those sound effects
Oh,
from
yeah.
Indiana Jones in there, because it's straight up exactly what that is. They're all the land's breaking apart, people sliding down. No one falls in though.
No.
They're all saved.
Falls into the abyss.
They needed an Elsa shot of someone falling
Elsa,
in.
I can't hold you, honey.
Like Kazar's girlfriend should have fell down the ditch.
Yeah,
Like Elsa,
Shana the She Devil.
Right. And if she was pregnant too, that would have been double cool, because Kazar would have been super pissed at the situation. We've been throwing rocks at the Garrock head.
So Jubilee's the one that almost falls down. Beast slides down and gives her an alley-oop. That's not an alley-oop, Beast. He hasn't seen Semi-Pro.
I haven't seen it either.
You haven't seen Semi-Pro?
Nah, I think I was watching it and I fell asleep. I think Lawley put it on at a sleepover or something and I just went out.
You should watch it. It's not too bad.
I'll give it another
If
shot.
you like Will Ferrell, get into it.
I don't mind Will Ferrell.
Yeah. So yeah, an alley-oop is when someone throws the ball near to the hoop, someone jumps, grabs it, and puts it in.
All right.
So how is this an alley? He just threw it up. If someone else caught her and put her on the ground, maybe that would be an alley-oop. But yeah, you can't just throw the ball and say, alley-oop.
Maybe Wolverine caught her, but Larry wasn't happy with the animation, so he just cut it.
It would have been more funny if he just yelled, Kobe.
Oh.
To put it in the vernacular, alley-oop.
What's with the gray dirt?
All right, Stoneface. Let's see how you stack up to adamantium. Oh, wow. You got some rough shrubbery around here, pal.
So now out of this grey dirt, a hand emerges and it manages to grab Kazar and Zabu in one hand. And this sets Wolverine off. He pops claws and takes it out very quickly.
Finally, something he can stab.
But then all of a sudden, a second one comes up behind Wolverine and grabs him. And we never see the resolution to this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it just cuts back to Storm in the hut.
Oh, okay.
And when we come back outside, they're all just standing there looking at Storm again. It's like, what happened? He must have cut himself out. Like,
It could have been another animation thing, and maybe Larry wasn't happy with the animation, cut those scenes out,
and then more crappy.
And then he's 3 minutes short. The animation could have just been so terrible. But there's a line around here after he saves Kazar. I think it was like, "You got some rough shrubbery around here, pal."
Yes, that's it.
I love that line.
We
Smart
want
ass.
a shrubbery.
Another shrubbery. Not another shrubbery. Oh,
With
please.
a path down the middle. So yeah, back in the hut where Storm is, the hut's sort of imploding on herself. It's getting smaller and smaller.
She's getting claustrophobic.
Yeah, we cut back to, but she doesn't say, "Oh my God, remember I'm claustrophobic."
Yeah, there's no sort of hand-holding here as to why she's getting freaked out by being trapped, because they mention it a couple of times in like season 1, season 2, but it's not. They don't really hit it over the.
They could have had a flashback.
They could have. Ah, geez, limit 2 episodes in 1 episode flashback per episode.
And then all of a sudden, Storm appears from the rubble, glowing, and now she's gone Super Saiyan 2.
Yeah, she's gotten scared, and
She's
then
got the electric flying. Super Saiyan 2, isn't it?
I believe it's Super Saiyan. One of them. I'm not too up on the Dragon
Neville
Ball
would
Z
know,
stuff.
wouldn't he?
Yeah, Corey know.
Not a real good idea to make her mad.
Yeah, so this is when everyone's standing around and she flies away and Wolverine somehow managed to get out of Garrock's hand.
He's out of Garrock's hand.
Storm gives Garrock a bit of the old bitter winter frost.
And that has been pretty good for wiping out most of the big bads in
Freeze
this.
those bastards.
Freeze them and then smash them. That worked for Nimrod. Omega Red got frozen. And I think that's about it.
Beast is the first one to figure it out. He's like, hang on, I think all this is like making him stronger.
Yeah, because you see all his dirt is crawling towards the volcano now, I believe.
It's now moving towards these mountains, which we can see are volcanoes. Like, what are you doing, Beast? I thought you were the smart one.
Is that what he says? Moving towards those mountains.
He does.
Ah, you silly
The
bastard.
mountains have bloody ash and smoke coming from the top of them, mate.
Maybe he thought it was a signal fire.
Beast then hypothesizes if Garrock absorbs the heat from the geothermal pits, he could become supremely powerful and that the land would be frozen solid. Wolverine's are like, it's not going to be frozen. I'm bloody hot as shit down
I'm
here.
sweating balls. I had to take my cowl off.
It was just a hypothesis. Come on.
Wolverine wants the correct answer straight away. He doesn't want any hypotheses.
Well, Storm must have heard it because she's like, oh, what? The coal's not working? I'll just turn the heat on there. Opens up all the clouds, gets the sun in here.
I mean, yeah, she controls storms. Can she start fires? Or she just make the sun
don't
get
know.
closer?
Yeah, you just drag the sun in.
Or does she just
Burn, baby, burn.
opens up the ozone layer so the sun's just coming in?
Do it.
I think you just make it, hot.
Garrock then says,
Is this the limit of your power, Weather Witch? Foolish creature. Your pitiful efforts merely empower me.
So he's really taunting her to give him more, but she's too stupid to figure out that what she's doing is making him stronger.
all these attacks from Storm just making Garrock more and more powerful.
He's loving it.
Beast then uses his communicator to tell Storm to quit. And she's only exacerbating the situation. Storm just says, leave me alone. She's acting out. Leave her alone.
She is acting out. She's like a tantrum-chucking child.
Rogue flies up, tries to grab Storm from behind, which she's done before, but this time it doesn't work.
There's only so many times you go back to the well.
Storm powers up and blasts herself free, which causes like this big light to flash all the way across the Savage Land. And it seems to like reverberate up the vines that are holding Sauron, like anything that's Garrock related.
Yeah.
Sort of just cracks these vines a bit. Storm is now glowing red and continues to blast at Garrock.
Yeah, she's getting fired up. Super Saiyan 4, I believe, Corey.
Is that when they're red?
I know one of them, they get too fat to move fast. That's how Cell beat Trunks. Trunks got so fat and strong and muscly they lost all his speed, and he just goes around and just can't get a shot on Cell. Why can't I hit him? It's the only thing I remember from Dragon Ball Z.
That's the only thing you remember.
Uh-huh.
I just remember a heap of the Freezer stuff. That was like right in when I was right on to Dragon Ball
So
Z.
yeah, I jumped in on the Cell saga.
Okay.
So I missed Freezer. I saw bits and pieces of Freezer, bits and pieces of Android, and then I was in for Cell. Watched all of that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do another saga.
No more
It's just-
Boo?
It's just too much, mate. It's too much powering up. When it took them 8 episodes to kill Cell, I was like, I've had enough of this. I can't.
After that season, Cell goes, he makes that like training area and just stands there.
Just wrecks it. And
he stands there for like ages while everyone's training for like 30 episodes.
he's all the
tournament
motivations of all the
starts.
Dragon Ball Z villains are very weird.
Anyway, that's why it's not Generation Dragon Ball Z.
That's exactly right. We'd have more listeners then.
Fascinating.
So yeah, this allows Sauron to manage to break free from the vines, and he gives Zaladane a quick little purple eye beam, knocking her out straight away.
Yeah, she starts running her mouth, and he just shuts her up quick.
Cop
smart.
that bitch.
She says, "Oh."
By this time, Garrock has made it to the volcano. Rogue then tries a flying headbutt attack on Storm. Garrock then becomes this huge humanoid form and sort of stands up out of the
I awaken. Soon the entire savage land will know the will of Garrock. The power of the earth shall be mine.
He's no longer a head anymore. He's got arms, legs, and a body, and he's just climbing out of the hole. But his head has changed shape completely. It's no longer a rock. It's like more of a humanoid face, but we never saw it change from one to the other. I thought that would have been cool. You could just start peeling away at the rock and reveal his actual human face.
Right.
Because his mouth's moving now. He's got lips and animation in his facial expressions.
So he gets so big here that his head and shoulders are above the clouds.
Yeah, he's getting so big.
Sauron then flies in and he is not happy.
No, he's not about that.
Sauron says, "Silence, Sauron, and Sauron alone will rule the savage land." He flies up into the crater of the volcano and grabs at like the Garrock glowing red part and starts to absorb all the energy. And he's like, "Yes, I can feel it now. No, it's too much."
See, that was always weird to me as a kid. It's like, I'm thinking that's lava. A being like Garrock can absorb lava and take the energy from it. But if Sauron touches lava, he's just going to burn his arm off. So unless it's been converted into some sort of
magical power,
magical red beam or whatever fuels the Transformers, Energon. Unless he's grabbing Energon there, then I'd believe that Sauron's getting the energy from it. But as a kid, I was just thought, oh, he's grabbing lava. That wouldn't work. He'd die. So
as Sauron's grabbing onto this power, Garrock is getting smaller,
stealing the power,
and Sauron is getting bigger. So all of a sudden, there's like 2 Megazords there ready to fight.
We've gone full Power Rangers here. Make my beast grow, or whatever it is.
Make my monster grow.
There it is.
No one challenges Sauron and lives.
So it's about the power again. So it's like Power Rangers, or it's like one of those old Godzilla movies.
Yes. And so all they do is just stand there and do the old like test of strength.
The wrestler test of strength,
yeah.
Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior style. Surely they'd start swinging trees at each other or something.
Something cool. So just holding hands.
No, I remember in Futurama, Bender and Dr. Zoidberg got big, and they were just smashing each other all over the place. And Bender gets a Colosseum, fills it with water, breathes fire, and it makes the water boil, and then he chucks the lobster, Dr. Zoidberg, in. I think, where's all the cool stuff like that? Why is it just this huge test of strength? This is what people have been waiting for, Larry.
That's
Why aren't
right.
they fighting?
Yeah, they should be fighting instead of showing more flashbacks.
Maybe the budget was cut.
Storm then flies in again, and Rogue this time manages to stop her. And as they're flying away, there's sort of like this eye glint between the two of Garrock and Sauron.
Yeah.
And then everything just explodes.
Yeah, there's sort of a hint that they're going to do some laser beams or something, but you don't really see it. It's a white flash, and then boom, everything goes up.
And that's it. And the blast is so big you can see it from space.
Yeah.
And then like a little spaceship just floats
a
in.
space shuttle flies by. I was like, all right.
But you can't even see the space shuttle. So I couldn't even ask you, what type of space shuttle is that? Or what was the name of the space shuttle?
I didn't know what it was as a kid, and there's like no freeze frames, and I couldn't be bothered rewinding. Looking at it now through the DVD, it's just like an upside down General NASA space shuttle. I was like, oh, that's not it. I thought it'd be like a Shi'ar ship or the ship that the Predator was in, you know? I was like, it's just nothing.
So back in the Savage Land, and we can't find Storm or Rogue. Wolverine pops claws again, starts digging through to try and locate him.
It's always very nerve-wracking when he's digging through with claws. What if their hand's just under a paper-thin rock and you cut her arm off?
Oh, shit, I found her. Oh, she lost an arm. Oh,
she
no.
lost an arm somehow.
Damn Sauron.
How have we turned Wolverine into an Australian buffoon? Jeez, that's someone else's fault, not mine. That's what would happen if Pride of the X-Men became a thing.
That's true. So all of a sudden, Rogue just appears to the side. Oh, yeah, I'm over here, and Storm's here. It sort of pushes the rocks off her. It's just very anticlimactic. They don't dig through and find her or anything. She just appears from off screen. Storm is unconscious but alive. So they throw her in the Blackbird and cheese it.
They get out of there quick, smart.
That's it.
Quick, before the dead savages or whatever, the dead tribe people
Where's
get there.
Garrock? Who cares? Let's get out of here.
Yeah, they don't even check to make sure they got the job done.
Zaladane then comes to, and she's in front of Garrock head, which is destroyed, sort of, and laying on its side, and it's running out of batteries.
This is my favourite line because he goes, "I was so close." That's pretty funny.
I was so close.
Kazar and Sheena are there, and they locate Crazy Carl. Did you notice Sheena?
No, I didn't notice Shayna was there.
She was with Kazar when they found Crazy Carl.
Where the hell's she been?
So as soon as he grabs Crazy Carl, he sort of sucks a bit of his
Yeah,
life
he gets
force,
a bit of extra Kazar fuel.
and he explains that with no more mutants in the Savage Land, he can never turn to Sauron again. So that sounds good, but he's still like this vampire guy that's got to drain other things' powers.
Oh, well, you get all the big dudes like Kazar who can spare a few...
He can stand it.
he can stand a few loss of hit points just to drink every now and again. Or you can just go around grabbing brachiosauruses. I'm sure they won't miss it.
Yes, thank you, my friend.
I don't know why he sounds like Spectre Gadget's arch nemesis. Claw.
Next time, Gadget.
The nightmare is over, and with no mutant energy to tempt you, the presence of Sauron will haunt you no more.
Thank you, my friend.
Back on the Blackbird, and Storm is asking for forgiveness for her actions. Rogue just blames Sauron, and Storm says, "I liked letting go. Never before have I felt so free."
To me, that's
What?
That's so on the nose of what her theme was running through. It just reminds me of that Simpsons episode when Marge is watching all the Survivor airplane movies. Thanks to the plane, we are still alive. I was like, what is that? So on the nose, and that's the Simpsons thing was a parody. This is an actual ending line for an episode, and it's so on the nose.
So that's it. The Blackbird disappears into the distance, and that's the end of that chapter.
And that's the end of that chapter.
So, what do you think of this one?
Well, from that point where when Garrock and Sauron explode, I got a note here. It wrapped up so fast.
Yeah.
It's like they were so keen to get out of this episode. Maybe they were as bored with it as we sort of found it, because I think it just wrapped up way too quickly.
Yeah.
And that's the least of this episode's problem. Overall, it was very anticlimactic. There wasn't enough funny, not enough badass, not enough cool moments.
No,
you know
nothing
what
we're
I mean?
looking for in this one.
And it's a damn shame, because just reading through the outline that we just did there and watching it tonight, there seems like there could have been a lot of cool stuff to happen in here. Like what we're all looking forward to is seeing Garrock for the first time, and Garrock versus Sauron. I mean, they could have gone full kaiju Godzilla versus King Kong and started kicking mountains over, pulling trees out, shoving them down each other's throats. And
That would have been so much better.
that would have been a cool thing, and then the X-Men can have to save all these innocents from getting squashed by all this Garrock and Sauron mayhem. But we didn't get any of that.
You could have got all that and then just covered all the Sinister stuff with one line, like, "Oh, when we were here with Sinister."
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
That's it.
Again, show the flashbacks, but abridged flashbacks with some cleverly written voiceover across everything. Instead, we didn't. Instead, we got a very rushed episode with a lot of filler in it and a lot of previously on X-Men to fill out time. This one, I don't know if this one was like in The Simpsons. They had like no, it's not Simpsons. South Park. They'd have like an episode they keep in the bag. So they'll want to be easy to do, so we won't work on that till the very end. And when they finally get to that episode to work on, they haven't fleshed it out enough, so they just have to quickly make it up on the spot. And this one just feels like the effort wasn't really put in to this one. I don't think. I mean, it may have, but in my opinion, just this one was a bit of a letdown. Because that first episode was pretty good. Even though I didn't have any attachments to it, any nostalgia that first episode, watching it last week, it was sort of an entertaining episode. However, this one wasn't.
That's right.
You're going through your notes there from previously on X-Men. Do they have anything interesting to say about this?
No, I was wondering if there was anything just about the second one, but it was just about the whole storyline itself.
Oh, okay.
And how there was a couple of twists at the end, how Sauron saved the day, and that Storm liked being crazy.
That seems like an obvious... I don't know if that's a twist or not, guys. That seems like the only way to go for this. But yeah, just thinking about it, we need that big Japanese-style kaiju fight, the big monsters fighting. I reckon that really would have saved the episode. And you know, the design of Garrock was pretty boring too.
It was too, yeah.
He's the big rock guy. He's got pants on. He's bald. And he's just got like rock skin. Like when he's human, he's got like the receding hairline, the skullet.
Yeah.
He's got a cape, and I think he's got wearing his own merchandise in the medallion. And when he grows big, I think he's just wearing a loincloth and he's big. I mean, that's not very interesting.
Yeah, make one head and always have that head.
Yeah.
So even when it's just the head on the ground, it's the same head as when he's big.
Yeah. I mean,
that would have been cool.
Yeah, there's this. Yeah, I don't know. It seemed lazy this episode. It seemed a bit lazy.
Yeah. So, what was your favourite part of this one?
I'll just lock it in and say my favourite part is just when it's the aftermath. You see Garrock's head's lying on the ground and everyone's left out of there, and he just screams out, "I was so close." He's running out of battery. That's my favourite line and my favourite part. Nothing much else in this episode to hang on to. What about you?
I think that's my favourite part too.
Oh, yeah?
There isn't anything else that really comes to mind, like, straight away.
Nothing that really sticks out, eh?
But a favourite quote has to go back to Sauron when he's hassling the...
Are you
Saladin
deaf,
again.
woman?
That's so good. She's like, no. Are you deaf, woman?
Are you deaf, woman? I order you.
No.
So how do you rate this one?
Yeah, this one's pretty average, Brooksy. And just thinking about what could have made it better, it just seems like this is a big missed opportunity. So I'm going to give this one a 4.
A 4?
They're average episodes, and then this one was I think this one's pretty below average. So I'm giving this one a 4 out of 10. Would have made it better. Just that big battle. Just, I don't know, just a bit more effort, I think.
Yeah, I gave it a 5.
That's generous.
It's not a stinker.
Yeah, it's not dog shit, but it's...
But it's never on the replay.
It's not looking for that home run.
No.
It's got no rev in it.
Yeah.
No more labs. Okay, bub.
Gene! I believe Emily Dickinson said it best. Fascinating.
All right, it's time for tally time. What do you got for us, Brooks?
Well, first off, I've got some Beast quotes that I didn't believe were in the episode, but according to the book, there is.
Oh, really?
So when Beast is talking about the proverbial rock and a hard place, he says, appears to be caught between Scylla and Charybdis, the proverbial rock and a hard place. This is not strictly a literary quote, but instead a reference to Homer's Odyssey.
Oh.
When Odysseus, sailing home from Troy, must choose between risking all his men to a whirlpool or 6 of his men to a multi-headed sea monster.
Ooh. That is quite a decision to be made. And what did he say? Silas?
Yeah, so that's the multi-headed sea monster. And the Charybdis, which is the whirlpool.
Oh, right. Because I remember watching the Odyssey. It was like a TV movie with Armando Sante.
Oh, yeah.
He had to do both.
Okay.
He goes through this tunnel on his boat with his men that are eaten by Silas, and then he falls into a whirlpool anyway, and all his men are lost, and he's just floating around.
So, yeah, that was Beast quotes. Fascinatings. We get a fascinating.
You got one.
I didn't mention it during the breakdown, but we did when one of the big flashes of light comes on.
Yeah.
When
Beast and Jubilee are watching, I think Storm is blasting Garrock.
Yeah.
And it's getting really bright and whatever. Jubilee's got her sunglasses on.
Yeah.
Normally they're just sitting on top of her head, but in this one scene she's actually using them.
So, yeah, we get a fascinating.
Fascinating.
So we're now up to 11 fascinating.
Nice.
Claw draws. So there was 2 in the flashback. Are we still tallying them?
Oh, wow. That's an interesting thing. I'm not sure. I don't think we should.
Because we've already seen them.
We've already seen them, yeah.
So without them, it's only 3.
I think we should stick to 3. I don't want to count flashbacks as being one. It's got to be new footage of claw draws. Don't you think?
Yep.
Yeah, let's lock that in. Flashback claw draws do not count. If we've seen it before, it's a flashback.
So we're up to 51 claw draws.
Nice.
And all up, we're up to 154.
Ooh. Getting it in.
No more bubs, so we're still on 11. So there's still the same amount of beast fascinatings as there is bubs.
Come on, Wolverine. Pull your head in, mate.
And no Gene Faint, still on 5, because there still hasn't been no Gene.
She's been studied like a lab rat.
How about sound effects? Do you hear any sound effects?
I did hear one. For the first time ever, I think, we've heard the actual T-Rex roar from Jurassic Park. Lifted straight from the sound banks at Universal and brought into this episode during, I think it's the stampede of the dinosaurs running through. It's like the carnivores and the herbivores running together away from the noise. And when they're in the cave, all the dinosaurs run by and you hear the T-Rex roar.
Right.
So I think that's one stolen sound effect. First one in a long time since the T-1000 shattering noise. So, T-Rex roar appears.
Boy, that rush hour traffic's murder, isn't it?
All right, it's time for Generation Mailbag. What do you got for us, Brooksy?
So we had a lot of people that were very happy to know that we're back.
Hey!
So a lot of yays and glad we're back and why did it take so long? Yada, yada, yada.
Typical sort of stuff. But yeah, what was really cool about when I edited the podcast and put it out there, I loaded it onto Podbean and it's got the automatic publish.
Yeah.
And I don't keep an eye on the timer as to when it's fully loaded onto Podbean. So it dropped and published on Podbean. And already there was some hits. Okay. Even before I started spreading it around. Because it automatically
downloads,
posts it to our Facebook page as well.
Right.
So people must just be on our Facebook page or they have a notification. Oh, new post from Generation X-Men, and people will go see whether it's Meme Monday or an episode. So without me doing any of the promotions that I normally do, there's a huge spike in downloads. So that was pretty cool to see. So thanks everybody for that. That was really neat.
So we did get a tweet from Geek Time World at Geek Time World.
Oh, nice little plug there for Geek Time World.
Who said, "Awesome show, guys. Been listening to your pod for the past several months, and I'm a few eps shy of catching up."
Ooh.
He says he's listening after watching each episode of the X-Men. It's probably the best way to go.
Oh man, that's a good way to listen to it, mate.
So he said he skipped ahead to listen to the latest one. Still the best. Keep up the great work.
Oh, outstanding. What was his Twitter handle again?
At Geek Time World.
At Geek Time World. Thanks for the watch, mate, and listen. I appreciate that, mate. But yeah, that's another cool thing too. When last time I did the podcast nearly a year ago, the way I had to share it around, I'd post it to our page, or it automatically post to our page, and then I'd post it to X-Men the Animated Series. From there, I'd put in like the description of what the episode is and tell people what we're doing. And so it's shared directly to the animated episode page. Then I'd have to click on the share box and go through all the individual groups and pages I've followed to promote the show and share them individually, which took forever. And it's all like, oh man, I'm so sick of doing this. But what's happened recently, I think there was an update on the iPhone that if you want to share something, you can just click on whoever you want to share it with. There's like tick boxes. So like type in X-Men and all the X-Men pages, and I'll just click on all of them, and I'll just have to click share once. And that's an easy way. It's like, oh man, that's great. So I just share them all out there, spam all the X-Men pages, and then we're all sorted for the shares and promotions for the week.
Well, one of our top fans, Pat, was back.
Pat Gunter is back, matey.
So one of the comments he said was, Sauron doesn't have super strength and fire breath in the comics.
Oh.
Never once seen fire breath.
Whoa.
So then that made me have to go back and say, okay, where did I get that info from? So I found out my sources say at some point prior to his new Avengers appearance, he acquired an additional ability to breathe fire, which he uses to burn the second Black Widow in revenge for shooting him. So some part of New Avengers comic books, Sauron's in there with fire breath. And then it also says superhuman strength. In pterodactyl form, he is superhumanly strong, able to lift approximately 10 tons.
Ooh.
So that comes from the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, Masters Edition number 23.
Wow. How about that, eh? Sauron burns the new Black Widow and he can lift 10 tons.
Yeah.
Well, of course you wouldn't be doing, and it wouldn't be flippant on your research here. But I suppose it might have happened in one of the newer comic books, and maybe Pat's not up to date with that particular run. But superpowers, fire breath, super strength. He's got it, but he definitely doesn't have the super strength in this episode.
Definitely not.
He's pretty piss weak. He can just fly and hypnotize people. Alright, it's time for Marvel movie news. As we hinted in the intro, we'll be talking about X-Men in the MCU. 20th Century Fox run is over. Hugh Jackman's out. Ian McKellen's out as Magneto. Patrick Stewart's out as Professor X. Same with McAvoy, Fassbender, all the cast. Forget everything you knew about X-Men because that is wiped clean. According to most sources online, the MCU will be rebooting the X-Men with an all-new cast. And here's some of the suggestions that the internet has made. And Brooks has got a nice long list of very hard-to-pronounce names and actors he's never heard of. And probably I've never heard of too.
So, yeah, just before we move on, you think they should all be redone?
Well, I think we're talking about it a little bit during the Dark Phoenix review. Yeah. I really like the actors playing Cyclops and Jean.
Okay.
I mean, how hard would it be for them to carry over if they wanted to?
Right.
I mean, I look at it like J. Jonah Jameson in the new Spider-Man. J.K. Simmons was in the franchise 2 reboots ago.
Yeah.
So, and they brought him back, so there's no reason why. I think, is it Ty Sheridan, who played Cyclops, and who's the actress?
Sophie Turner?
Sophie Turner to return.
Yeah, I know those two.
as Cyclops and Jean Grey, because I thought they were very good in Dark Phoenix, especially Ty Sheridan. He made Cyclops a careable character, for me, at least anyway. No offense to James Marsden, who did Cyclops in the original X-Men. But
as I always say, James Marsden was playing Cyclops from the animated series.
Yeah, he's doing a bang-on job.
He did a great job of that.
He did a very good job. But I'd like to see those two return.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still a fan of James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
They could have got to do a little bit. They got less and less to do as the series went on. First Class is all about them.
Yeah.
Days of Future Past is more about Wolverine. They don't get much screen time together. And Apocalypse, they meet once right before the stuff goes down in the mansion. So I'd like to bring them back, but I think maybe we should give Magneto a rest.
Right.
You know, he's been in everything from the start, all, let's say, 6 movies of X-Men, all the X-Men movies. He's always sort of been there. Well, maybe we should give him a rest for a bit.
So then the other one, X-Men related, that's going to have to stay is Deadpool. You can't change that from Ryan Reynolds.
Well, I was looking it up. They throw this word around, soft reboot, and they're going to have to somehow integrate him into the MCU. Yeah. Whether they have to keep an R-rated version of him.
Of course.
But they have to sort of work him into the regular MCU team-up movies as well, which is going to be a bit of a challenge because he should be able to point out that he's in a reboot. I'm sure he's going to say.
Definitely.
He's definitely going to have something to say about the 2 studios now. I'm bouncing between those now. I'm not allowed to swear in this movie. That opens it up to have some pretty funny stuff. But I really want to make sure that he gets his R-rated movie, and you know, Ryan Reynolds and his producing team get to make their own stuff because they were doing fine without the MCU. One of the only Marvel franchises that's doing well outside of Kevin Feige's guiding hand. Of course, I want Ryan Reynolds to come back. And of course, I need Josh Brolin to come back as Cable. Good Lord, he nailed that role. I mean, don't swap him out. Do whatever you can to bring him back. Disney, do not piss off Josh Brolin because he is Cable. No one else.
And Thanos.
Thanos done, mate. And the whole Thanos versus Cable thing, I was always going to be a Cable guy. You know what I mean? Not the Jim Carrey movie, but I'm all for Cable.
There's another thing I brought up too, just before we start. What about the idea of bringing some of these X-Men in via Spider-Man and his class? Say like Kitty Pryde and Jubilee are in Spider-Man's class. And that's how they come in.
That's an interesting way to bring them all in.
I thought that would be
introduce mutants.
Yeah, not all of them, but just a few of them. That's how you bring them in. Bring them in through Spider-Man.
See, that'd be a cool little gateway introduction to them. It's like kind of like what they were trying to do with Blade 3, how they brought in Hannibal King and Abigail Whistler. And the idea was to bring them in on Blade and have them spin off to be their own franchise. Unfortunately, that didn't work. I think it's just because people wanted to see Blade in a Blade movie, not, Ryan Reynolds doing Deadpool for the first time. But that'd be a really cool way. That'd make me care about Spider-Man for sure. Yeah. And because Spider-Man and X-Men have a bit of a crossover history in the animated series, it would be neat to, say, have, Jubilee be in one of Spider-Man's class and she accidentally blows up a DVD player. Have to change it for this time now. It's DVD player or streaming service box or whatever it is. That'd be neat.
Okay, let's kick it off. How about some Cyclops?
Mm-hmm. Who are some of the go-to casts or internet casts, let's call them, for Cyclops?
How about Taron Egerton?
Taron Egerton, yeah, he was famous for the, always well known for the, what the hell is that spy movie called that he's in?
The one that I wrote
down,
Kingsman, is he's in Rocket Man. He's Elton John in Rocket Man.
He's Rocket Man, he's Kingsman, and he's also Robin Hood. I mean, British accent, kind of looks like Cyclops. I mean, if you cover up his eyes, will he be a good Cyclops? Does he have the jaw for it? Absolutely, he does. But again, for me, I'm still stuck. I'm still keen for Ty Sheridan. But yeah, Taron Egerton.
Yep.
He'd be a good Cyclops, I think. If he could hit the American accent. I haven't heard him do an American accent in a movie.
What about Logan Lerman? He's the guy that plays Percy Jackson.
I haven't seen Percy Jackson. I'm looking up.
Look him up.
I'm looking up. I've got my laptop in front of me and going through all. Yeah, he's got the sort of smarmy, sort of Christian Slatery vibe to him. He definitely looks babyface enough that he could pull off the Cyclops. But then we're going back to how old are all the characters in this?
It does depend on what you want to do.
I don't want to see kids in the X-Men role. The X-Men, not the X-teenagers.
Right.
I'd like to see adult, Cyclops and adult Jean Grey again.
Yeah.
With the youngest person being like a Jubilee. I'd really like them to follow the animated series. But yeah, this Taron Lerman, Logan Lerman. He's a good choice for a Cyclops.
How about John Krasinski?
Too old.
Old?
Old John Krasinski. If he's doing Cyclops, even as grown-up Cyclops, I think he's like 40 years old, 45. I think he's too old to be a Cyclops. There's internet rumours and sort of internet casting as John Kay to be the Fantastic Four guy, Richard Reed.
Okay,
Is Richard Reed or Reed Richard?
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards. I mean, that's perfect.
Richard Reed is the guy.
The guy on Today.
Big Dick Reed and Big Dick Wilkins. The two dicks. That's one of Shigsy's best.
Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. That's definitely perfect casting for John Krasinski. I don't want to see him as Cyclops. Even his wife could be Sue Storm perfectly, Emily Blunt.
Oh yeah.
Her name comes up in one of the.
She does come up a bit later.
Internet casting as well.
Cyclops, Richard Madden from Game of Thrones.
Oh yes, this to me looks like if we're going for adult Cyclops, this is who I'd go with because he looks really. He's got the look for Cyclops, and watching him in like Game of Thrones, I think he gave a solid performance. But I think he's of Scottish stock. Yeah, he's a Scottish actor. Yeah. Depends on how well he can do the old American accent. But to me, this one by far is like this is who I'd go for as Cyclops because he's not up to too much at the moment. Seeing how Game of Thrones is done, I mean, if he wants to be grown up Cyclops, I'm all for it. But he also looks like he could be Magneto because he looks just like Fassbender.
Okay, yeah. Well, the last one I got for Cyclops is Miles Teller.
He was Reed Richards in the Fantastic fantastic reboot.
Yes.
I'm sure, maybe like Chris Evans, he's looking to redeem himself in terms of a bad Fantastic Four performance. I wouldn't say Chris Evans was bad as Human Torch. It's just the second movie wasn't good. And I remember when he was named as one of the potentials for Captain America, I immediately ruled him out. Nah, he's already played Johnny Storm. He can't do Captain America as well. No good. He's too immature for that. He's better off as the funny, sleazy Johnny Storm, immature guy. But then he came through and he rocked it as Captain America. So that's an interesting choice. He could probably be Cyclops, this Miles Teller. But he's too close looking to Ty Sheridan.
Yeah.
Is it Ty Sheridan?
Yeah, they're one that is now, currently.
Yeah.
All right, Wolverine. I'll start off with the obvious ones. Tom Hardy.
Nah, he's Venom. Can't be two Marvel guys. And I think, Tom Hardy makes a lot of quirky choices for character voices. Like, you heard his brain talks like this.
Yeah.
So very high, like Sean Connery if he was on crystal meth or something like that. And his Venom voice is pretty gnarly too. Like, I don't see him playing. I think his choices would be too over the top for Wolverine. And Wolverine, while he can go full berserker rage, I think it needs a subtle performance. Like, you look at what Hugh Jackman did with it. He wasn't just super crazy animalistic Wolverine type character. He's had a human side to it as well. And to me, because Hugh's really owned the role, there's only been one Wolverine. There's been 20 Batmans, a couple of Cyclopses. There's only been one Wolverine. So this would be a really hard one to replace. But you'd have to.
How about Scott Eastwood?
That's a pretty good choice. Scott hasn't done much. He definitely looks the part. He was in Suicide Squad, but he's pretty scrawny.
Yeah. You have to bulk up.
He'd have to bulk up for 2 years. I mean, Hugh Jackman says it takes him a year to get in physical Wolverine shape. I mean, if Scott wants to play Wolverine for 2021, he needed to start lifting 2 years ago. I mean, he's one of the shorter guys too, Scott Eastwood.
Yep.
Right? How tall is he? I think he's pretty short. Oh, 180 centimetres. So not too tall, not too short. Sort of right, an average sort of height. It's definitely not Hugh Jackman tall, which is probably what they want to avoid.
Yeah.
So the MCU is all about being comic accurate, and if Wolverine's 5'2", can't get another 7 foot tall Australian to play him. I think Scott Eastwood's probably a pretty strong choice. I'd like to see what he'd do with the character.
What about Charlie Hunnam?
Charlie Hunnam, British Charlie, who's in
Sons of Anarchy
and Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Blondie. And he's also in King Arthur. I think that'd be an interesting choice for Charlie Hunnam. I mean, I've never seen him with black hair before, brunette hair. It's always been sort of really, really bright blonde. Let me just have a look at what he looks like again, just to see. He's 185 centimetres tall. Definitely rough looking. He's got the sort of tough guy look about him. Yeah, just that's... Nah, I wouldn't want to see him.
No?
Nah, not as Wolverine.
I think this is also going to be a number 2. A no as well. Daniel Radcliffe.
Absolutely not. I think he's been one iconic character already, Harry Potter. You can't have two. You can't have Wolverine as well. Besides, he's got the right height. He's a short ass. But I've never heard him do an American accent. And quite frankly, he's too ugly. He can't be Wolverine.
What about Joe Manganiello?
He's too old. I think he's a bit too old. Was it Flash Thompson from Spider? He was in the first Spider-Man.
He was.
I can't see him coming in as Wolverine. I think if they're going to cast all these things, they're going to have all these potential castings. You have to bring him in at a certain age. I think Joe's in his 40s, I think, and might just be a bit too old for this sort of character. I mean, he was cast pretty good in as Deathstroke in one of the DC movies, but that sort of died in the arse. But I don't think he should swap sides and come back to the comic book world again.
How about Scott Kahn?
Too old, I think.
Too old?
Hasn't done much. There's not enough stock in his name. I think he's done mostly TV shows, and wasn't he like Hawaii 5-0 or something?
Hawaii 5-0. Book him, Dano.
Book him, Dano. You need a bit of star power. Even though Hugh Jackman, when he was cast, he didn't have a lot of star power coming in. No, he's relatively an unknown. That's at the start of his career. You can't get a relatively unknown actor, but they've got 20 years of acting in them. It's like, nah, Sorry, Scott Caan. I don't think so.
What about Captain Boomerang himself, Jai Courtney?
I think they'd be into that. I think Hollywood's weird. Like, if an Australian plays an American, like they're like, oh, well, we'll bring in another Australian to play Wolverine because the last Australian that did it did such a good job. It's an interesting choice. But to me, Jai Courtney, he's always jumping in on the pre-existing characters. He played John McClane's son in one of the Die Hards. He played Kyle Reese in one of the Terminators. I think he's done something else where he's played someone from some other movie in a reboot 20 years later. I don't think it would be a good choice for him to come in as just as an actor. It wouldn't be a good choice for him to come in and take over another role that someone's already done.
Right.
I mean, it's all right if an actor tries that and they haven't done that before, but he's done it twice, maybe 3 times already. I wouldn't do it again, Jai. Just stick and wait for the next Captain Boomerang movie that you need to play Captain Boomerang in, because he did a really good job as Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, make a Captain Boomerang movie. I'd watch that.
I'd watch the shit out of that. I think he was one of the only good things in Suicide Squad.
Yep.
You saw Suicide Squad
Once.
right? And that was enough.
Yep.
And you saw Captain Boomerang, and when he does the fire with the fire gags, he really like, yes, he's my guy. I hope he doesn't die. It is 100% my favourite character. Like, if I did a Suicide Squad movie, I'd be all about Captain Boomerang. But no, Jai, he's in Suicide Squad too. Hopefully he doesn't die, and hopefully there's a million more movies with him as Captain Boomerang. I don't want him as Wolverine.
All right, next guy we got is Gambit. Gambit, there was very little talk of. The only one, the main one, is Channing Tatum, because he was on the hook for that Gambit movie for so long.
That movie was in developmental hell for years and years and years. I didn't believe it was going to happen, and probably won't happen now. Channing Tatum's pretty old now, isn't he? I should bring up all their names and how old they are. Channing.
He looks really big too. He doesn't really remind me of Gambit. Gambit's not a big, bulky sort of guy.
Gambit's not the big jack dude. He's more he's a thief, right? And thieves have to be light on their feet,
That's
stealthy, blend in with the crowd, except for the ruby red eyes. Yeah, he needs it. I think it needs to be a sort of suave, sort of cool sort of character or actor to play him. And Channing just sort of sticks out a bit too much. I mean, going back, I thought Taylor Kitsch from X-Men Origins, I thought he did Gambit really well.
Yep.
Didn't have that strong Cajun accent, though that's what I'd like to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you and I are talking about it.
Cool.
No more of these flat, neutral American accents. No. Let's go a strong New York accent or a strong Bayou sort of accent, Cajun accent, a Canadian accent for Wolverine. Let's get some unique sounding guys in there. Are there any other potentials for Gambit?
The only other one that someone's talking about is Scott Caan. Oh, no, sorry, that's
Wolverine.
Gambit, Jeremy Irvine.
Jeremy Irvine.
So he's in Warhorse. He was in Mamma Mia.
This guy looks the part.
That's why I put him in.
Yeah. Was he a selection from internet casting, or is this what you reckon?
I haven't guessed anyone because I don't know all these new people. What is this? Give me some 90s movies.
I haven't seen... A lot of this has to do with the attitude and the character that I believe Gambit should be. And the Gambit in my head is the Gambit from the animated series.
Yeah.
Who reminds me of Gambit from the animated series? Who has that swagger, that flavour, that style about him? And just looking at pictures of this guy, yes, he looks like him, but I haven't seen any movies with him in it that reflect that sort of character. And if he's in Warhorse, which is like a drama, I was like, could he pull off the funny, quirky, charming, charismatic Gambit? Maybe.
All right, next one we're going to is Rogue.
The
first one for Rogue is Shelley Henning.
Doing a quick Google search of Shelley Hennig. There's not a lot of photos of her there. She's what was she in again, Brooks?
She was in Unfriended and she was in Teen Wolf.
All right. So she's 33 years old, up and comer.
She was born in New Orleans.
Born in New Orleans? Is that where Rogue's from?
She needs that southern drawl.
Oh, that's right. Needs the southern drawl. Again, I haven't seen her in anything. She definitely looks the part. Could probably pull it off. Again, age is the thing. If you're bringing in the young Rogue again that can't fly,
No.
And we want Flying Rogue.
No, well, actually, we don't because
Yeah?
we want to get rid of Captain Marvel. That's what we want.
Well,
I want to see that storyline play out.
well, this I don't think they could do that either because this Captain Marvel's got laser beam powers and is it immortality as well. She doesn't age,
Pretty much.
so she's nothing like Ms. Marvel other than the name Carol Danvers. I don't know. For me, I'd like to see just jump in with Rogue in the uniform with the jacket over the top, flying around with powers. And so I'd like her a little bit on the older side, not a teenager, maybe mid to late 20s. So this chick, Shelley Hennig, she could pull it off.
Next one is Haley Steinfeld.
Oh well, she's going to be in the new Hawkeye. No, she can't. She can't. Those are the rules.
Those are the rules.
The
Scratch her off.
MCU's already set. If she's in Hawkeye, forget about it. Forget about it. She's done, mate. No Haley Steinfeld. Sorry. Maybe could have pulled it off, but no.
The next one is Margaret Qualley.
Margaret Qualley. Oh, from Nice
Once Upon a
Guys.
Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, she was in Nice Guys as the crazy chick. She was funny in that. No, I don't think so. No, just based on her look, I don't think she's got the right look for it. She's too striking, I think. She's like, yeah, I don't know.
You don't know.
Just based on the look, and I've seen her in Nice Guys playing the crazy chick. I've seen her in I nearly said that 70s show. It's that 70s movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Nah, I don't see her being Rogue. She probably could pull it off very well, but nah. She's got a very particular look, and so does Rogue, but I don't see her playing Rogue.
Next one is Lindsay Fonseca.
Lily Fonseca in Kick-Ass as Rogue. Yeah, maybe. There's nothing really jumping out for me as her. It's like saying, oh, that's 100% Rogue, but yeah, could maybe work. I've got nothing, not too much to say about her.
She was in Agent Carter, so you're going to cross.
Nah, Agent Carter. You got to bring that up straight away, Brooksy. Has she been in anything Marvel? Nah, I'm not even going to consider her, mate. She's already been in a MCU or extended MCU television movie. Nah, can't be done.
The last one is Haley Lou Richardson.
Again, yeah, maybe. Nothing screaming out saying this is Rogue or hashtag Rogue straight away. Nothing standing out to me as Haley Lou. So yeah, that's another maybe. Could work. Haven't seen her in anything else before. Has she been in any MCU productions, Brooksy?
It's not coming up. No.
It's not coming up? Then that's a maybe then still. She could probably pull it off. Let's see what she could do. Nothing that disqualifies her from being Rogue. Yeah, maybe.
We now move to Jeans, which is all of the new redheads. Holland Roden from Teen Wolf.
Okay, that's two potential casts from Teen Wolf. Is this a popular TV show?
I guess so. I don't know. I don't watch new TV.
She's very cute looking. She doesn't have like a lot of the maturity in her face that Sophie Turner had, and I think Jean Grey's a mature sort of looking person. I don't see her as being like the cute one of the group. That could probably fall to Rogue.
How about this chick? How do you pronounce her first name?
Saya Reese.
I have no idea.
Sarai.
She's the next one on the list.
What's her surname?
Ronan.
Oh, look, if you go on Wikipedia, you can see how their names are pronounced. So it's Saoirse.
Saoirse Ronan.
Saoirse Ronan. We had to look up the Google Wiki pronounce on that. Saoirse. She's got the Jean Greys about her, just from her look. You know, sort of elongated features, slender frame, mature features. I'd see her as a Jean Grey. And again, 25 years old, she's definitely of the sort of right age that the MCU would go for if they're going for the X-Men that are children. I'd say she's the strongest candidate for Jean Grey so far. Saoirse.
The next one is Evan Rachel Wood.
Evan Rachel Wood, she has been in nothing that I can remember, just on her look. She's in The Wrestler, Whatever Works, The Ides of March, Westworld. See, it's very popular thing to cast people from TV shows these days. A lot of the stars are made in TV, and then they sort of graduate to movies, and then they move back to TV
Just
much
like
later
the last
on.
Gene.
Just like the last Gene. That's right. Yeah, maybe just based on her look. I still like Saoirse the best. Evan Rachel Wood. Let's have some more photos of her. She's 32. Might be a bit old, but yeah, maybe.
The last one I got is Jessie Buckley.
Bit too much attitude. Really cute looking. I don't know if she's got the maturity that I'd cast for a Jean.
Right.
Just based on looks. I haven't seen her in any movies or TV shows. Just the young blood redheads that are popping up. She was in War and Peace, Taboo. I tried to watch Taboo. I got bored with that.
Okay, the next one we got is Beast. The first one is Will Poulter. He's Kenny from We're the Millers.
He's such an interesting looking fella. He looks like the bad guy in all the movie about kids.
Looks like Sid from Toy Story. Is that what you're saying?
God. It's crazy. He's got the Jack Nicholson eyebrows and
He does.
the look of every villain in every children's movie, but he played the goofball kid from Where the Millers.
Yep.
So he's definitely got range. Like, just based on that head, you wouldn't think that he could play like the goofball from Where the Millers. So, based on what he looks like, he could definitely pull off Beast. But then again, I see Beast as nearly as old as the Professor.
Right.
So just based on that, no. If we're doing young X-Men, nah. Kelsey Grammer. He nailed it.
The next one is Dev Patel.
Ah, yes, Dev Patel, and he's got like a bit of Indian heritage
He
here.
does.
That's another thing that they haven't brought up is like the changing of race and the casting that they've done. They've done that in with a couple of things. I can't think of anything that pops to mind.
Domino.
Who? Oh, yes, Domino. That's the most recent one. And Aquaman for DC, which I think has worked for Domino, worked for Aquaman. For Beast, I don't know. My heart's set on Kelsey Grammer. Just bringing him back. And an older Beast, too. I don't think Dev Patel... I'm sure he could do a wonderful job. He's a BAFTA award-nominated actor, Slumdog Millionaire. I just see Beast as being older.
Next guy is Colin Hanks.
Colin Hanks.
It's Tom Hanks' son. He's in a fair few things.
If it's his son, I know he's going to look too young.
No, he's born in 1977.
Oh, 42.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was in both Jumanjis.
Yeah. King Kong. House Bunny.
He was in King Kong?
Orange County. Yep. Preston, the actor.
All right, eh? Oh, yeah, I'm sure he could pull it off. Jeez, he's got the same ears as his old man. Yeah, he could make it work. That's an interesting choice. I just haven't seen him in a lot of stuff where he gets to sort of like, put on the sort of Beast intellect voice. He played pretty like a normal character in Jumanji. I haven't really seen him in anything else. Yeah, he could definitely give it a go.
The last one I got for Beast is Alexander Ludwig.
Oh, he's in Bad Boys for Life. That's where I saw him.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he's in Grown Ups too.
I haven't seen Grown Ups. I haven't seen any of the
You have seen Grown Ups too, because I make you watch it all the time.
They're stupid. I don't like that. I don't like that pack of actors.
Summertime.
Nah, he's too young. I'm 27 years old. I want an older Beast.
Okay, so let's move to Professor X. Now, Professor X has the most amount of people I didn't have to look up.
Sam Neill. I'm just trying to remember who we cast in our fan casting. There, go on.
The first one that people have brought up is Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad. I think since
Malcolm in the Middle.
Since Breaking Bad, yes, and Malcolm in the Middle. He's
Power
really
Rangers.
What a waste of time of putting him in Power Rangers. That whole movie is a waste of time. Bryan Cranston, I think they just, because they've seen him bald once, I was like, oh, make him Professor X. Anybody they've seen bald before. He could bring a lot of soul to the role, so maybe.
How about Daniel Craig?
No.
No?
No, way no. Yeah, he's been James Bond for crying out loud. You can't see him going from the ultimate cool, sophisticated, badass guy to a guy who's confined to a wheelchair and is playing an intellectual. And I think he's just too rough around the edges. I think Professor X needs to have like a softer side to him. in the way they cast him, because you see like Alan Grant, whatever his real name is again. What is it?
Sam Neill.
Sam Neill. He's got like the sort of softer features, a gentler sort of face, and like piercing blue eyes. It's not. There's nothing. He's got no harsh, mean angles to him. And Bryan Cranston and Daniel Craig, they do. I see them playing more villains than anybody else. I'm not saying that they couldn't do the job. Just visual and physical wise, they just look more sinister, more evil than the nurturing side of Professor X.
How about Ewan McGregor then?
That'll work. That'll work. I like Ewan
Obi-Wan?
McGregor. Obi-Wan, but he was in the latest Birds of Prey movie with Harley Quinn. He played Black
Don't
Mask.
worry, no one saw that.
Nobody saw that, but I saw it, and that cancels it out for me. He definitely portrays the softer side, which I could definitely get across. He's Scottish as well, and I think James McAvoy was Scottish. So going from Hollywood mentality, the last guy who played him was Scottish, we could do this other Scottish guy. Ewan McGregor's a pretty good pick. That's my favourite so far.
What about Ralph Fiennes?
Nah, he's in Harry Potter, mate.
Yeah.
He played.
He was bald in that.
He was bald in that. Man. He had no nose. And he was also M. You can't be M, Voldemort, and Professor. That's too much. That's too much on the filmography. No. Straight up no.
What about Colin Firth?
Colin Firth. He was in Kingsman.
He was.
He's already played the sort of mentor role. I don't think he'd be interested in doing it again. Plus, I think one of his big traits is his hair. I don't think he'd shave his head or wear a bald cap for anything. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do... not Colin Firth.
The last one is Stanley Tucci. Tucci.
Stanley Tucci.
Tucci, is it?
I'm going to eliminate him because I think he was in Captain
He
America.
was.
Nah, you can't. He's already played the mentor in Captain America. I'd eliminate him from the equation.
Okay.
Tell you who I cast Stanley Tucci as, Mr. Freeze, if they ever did a fun Batman again. He's bald. He hasn't... I don't think I've seen him play an evil... Well, I want to say evil, but he's never seen him play a super villain before. And because he played like a good guy character in Captain America, you can switch sides to DC and play a villain, I reckon. And I reckon him for Mr. Freeze, not Professor X. He's already been... no. What if him and Chris Evans had a scene together? It's like, nah. Even though he's totally looking different, nah, absolutely not.
All right, Jubilee.
All right, who we got for Jubilee?
Karen Fukuhara.
Okay. She played...
Katana.
No. Nah. I mean, yeah, you can't go from super badass Katana to Jubilee, who's a goofball. I mean, she definitely looks the part. She's a very good actress, but to me, she's already cemented herself as DC, and I wouldn't want to see her crossing over because I do think she is coming back for the Suicide Squad sequel. You can't play both sides.
Next one is Peyton Elizabeth Lee.
That looks like Jubilee to me. Got the short hair and everything. So it's very easy for me to put it together because most of it's already there. Peyton Elizabeth Lee, what has she been in? American actress. She's in the Disney Channel as Andy. She's 15. That's very young for Jubilee. But by the time they start X-Men, I think she'd be of age. This is the Jubilee age that I'd want. And if we're going to do an X-Men movie again, let's do it like the animated series. Let's have Jubilee as the sort of the audience character that's discovering the X-Men for the first time. Because the first one is
have her
Rogue.
in Spider-Man's class.
There you go. Yeah, Peyton Elizabeth Lee. This is the one that I'm leaning towards the most.
The last one I got for Jubilee is Ellen Wong, who's Knives in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
That's Ellen Wong. She's 35, so that sort of rules it out for me. Jubilee's never old in any of the comics, or probably in the comics, but in every iteration I've seen of the character, she's never the older character. She's always like a teen. So it'd have to be a teenage Jubilee for me.
All right, now we move on to Storm, and I could not pronounce any one of Storm's names. First one, Yara Shahidi.
That's pretty good. Now that Yara Shahidi. So that's another one from the previous X-Men franchise. The actress who played her before as Storm, Alexandra Shipp. See, I liked her as Storm. I thought what she was that she got the African accent down and doing all the Storm powers and everything. She looks the part. I'd cast her again. I'd bring her back. Cyclops, Storm, and Jean I'd bring back from the last version of the character.
How about Zoe Kravitz?
She's the go-to for young black actresses. Zoe Kravitz. She was in I think she was in Mad Max, wasn't she?
Yes, she was also in X-Men First Class.
No. Brooksy, don't bring her up. Wait, was she the one with the wings? Nah, she can't be. She dead, Brooksy. Can't pull one over on me like that.
The last one I got for Storm is Sonequa Martin Green. So she's in Star Trek Discovery. She's also on The Walking Dead.
Right away, she reminds me of Angela Bassett.
Right.
She played Tina Turner, and she was also in what's that Eddie Murphy vampire movie, Vampire in Brooklyn. And there was early rumors like back in the day that Angela Bassett was going to be Storm. So right away, this chick's perfect for it, just in terms of like it reminds me of someone who was almost cast as Storm.
Right.
So it works straight away for me, just in terms of look.
All right, now we move on to Angel. First one we got for Angel is Baby Driver. Ansel Elgort.
Baby.
And
Ansel.
B-A-B-Y, baby.
Ansel Elgort.
Yep.
Man, these names suck.
Yeah, I know. The whole bloody list is like that.
I remember seeing a meme. Ansel Elgort, Ty Sheridan, Miles Teller, and someone else that all look exactly the same, and they're all easily confused for one another.
All right, yeah.
I think there's only room for one of those guys in the MCU. Otherwise, you're going to throw everybody off. And because Ty Sheridan's my Cyclops, I can't have Ansel Elgort or the other Miles Teller in my MCU. So I'm going to say no to this guy, regardless of how good a job he did in Baby Driver. Who's he supposed to play in this? Angel?
Angel.
Nah.
The only other Angel people are spruiking is Harry Styles.
Well, Chris Nolan cast him in that war movie, which I forget the name of.
Is that the 1917 or whatever?
Nah, it's the other one. 1917 was better. 1916 was better.
You're thinking...
It wasn't Interstellar, it was...
No, yeah, I saw
it's
that.
It's a beach.
Yeah, I saw that at the Dunkirk.
It's a... They're on the beach for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
No. I mean, Nolan saw something in Heath Ledger. He said he saw the same sort of thing in Harry Styles. Whether Harry Styles chooses to pursue acting as a career, all the luck to him. Mm-hmm. But seeing how he's a singer trained first, and in Dunkirk he wasn't stretching too far for a performance. He was doing his own accent. And wait, is Angel British or is he American? I think he's American.
Yeah.
Nah, wouldn't cast him. Warren Worthington. I'd bring that other guy back from Apocalypse. He did an okay job.
Yeah.
But if they're rebooting him, they'd have to give him the proper origin story. Nah, I don't know. Nah, not Harry Styles. I don't see him being able to do the American accent.
Okay, move on to Nightcrawler. First one is Ezra Miller.
Flash?
Nah.
No? Can't be the Flash and Nightcrawler. It's too nah. And besides, I don't think Ezra Miller's run as the Flash is over. The Flash movies are in production developmental hell. So if we see another Flash... I thought the Flash was pretty good in Justice League. I'd like to see more of him as the Flash. I don't see him as Nightcrawler. He could pull it off.
Next one is Timothy Chalamet.
Suddenly remembered my Chalamet. Well, he's going to be covered up in blue makeup, so why not? How good's his German accent? He's got the feature. He's definitely got the elongated, sharp features for a Nightcrawler. If he was older, he could play the Joker. He's got a very interesting looking head, this bloke. So, yeah, why not bring him on as Nightcrawler?
Yeah, well, there must be something about it, because the next one I've got is Alexander Skarsgård.
Oh, it? Pennywise?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not it. Alexander, he's the older brother.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I can't remember the younger Skarsgård's name. Stellan's the dad. Bill is Pennywise, but he's also the bloke who spits up the acid in Deadpool 2. What the hell's that toxic guy's name? That's going to irritate me.
I'm going to let it irritate
The Toxic or something like that? Zeitgeist, the most random
That's
name for the most... Yeah, normally their names are related to their powers. But Alexander Skarsgård, no, he's Tarzan. He's got the leading man about him. I don't see him playing Nightcrawler. But if you make the movie about Nightcrawler, I'm all for it. But he's a lead actor, not a backup guy.
All right, now we move to Mystique.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 2 for Mystique. Charlize Theron
Yeah.
or Emily Blunt?
I'd go neither of them because they're too old. Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt is Mrs. Fantastic or Sue Storm in my MCU.
Yep.
Charlize Theron, nah. I don't see her doing any superhero movies. I mean, she did Furiosa, and I think she was in Hancock, playing a superhero character. I think she said everything she wants to say about superheroes and action. But nah, I don't see her as Mystique.
Okay, we move on to Sabretooth. Rory McCann.
Lurch, pretty old. Sabretooth needs to be pretty nimble and stuff like that.
Yeah, you reckon?
I suppose they'd just swap out a stunt person for him. And if he's going to be Sabretooth, it's going to be the healing factor looking perpetually young. He might be a bit too old. At the moment, if they only cast him one time, yeah, he'd be pretty good. But if it's going to be an ongoing thing, probably not.
Stephen Amell.
Arrow. Nah. He's already Arrow. He's already an iconic. I wouldn't say he's iconic, but Arrow's very popular with a lot of people. You know what I mean? I didn't like the show, but he's Arrow. He's Arrow for the rest of his career now.
Next one, Emma Frost.
Uh-huh.
They've only thrown one name out for Emma Frost. That was Blake Lively.
Yeah, sure, why not? She was in Green Lantern, and that didn't go anywhere, so you can consider her career done and dusted. There's connections between her and Ryan Reynolds.
Deadpool.
As they're married and they've Deadpool, but surely she'd want to be in something with hubby. Surely they could cross paths.
Yep.
Maybe. That'd be pretty funny if Deadpool had a crush on Emma Frost and didn't leave her alone. That'd be a great little in-joke.
The next one is Colossus. There's only one name for that, Liam Hemsworth.
Nah, Colossus is still around. He hasn't been replaced or kicked out. He's still the Deadpool 2 Colossus.
But he's not in the MCU.
Unless I don't think they're going to reboot him. I don't think he'd have big plans for
Colossus shouldn't be Colossus 24/7. He should transform into Colossus.
He should be.
Why is he always Colossus?
What's his real name?
Dimitri.
I thought it was Piotr. Piotr. Yeah, maybe. I mean, they had half Colossus in the first 3 X-Men and that.
Yeah.
I saw how good that worked.
But he wasn't a speaking role. He's just big guy. Got a big guy here. Yeah, throw him in.
We had 24/7 Steel Colossus, and he stole nearly every scene he was in. Come quietly, or there will be trouble.
He can still
RoboCop.
He can still talk like that. He just doesn't have to be metal all the damn time.
He needs to be a giant Russian parody of a Colossus. Liam Hemsworth, he's not big enough. He needs to be. Colossus needs to be as big as he is in Deadpool 2. He needs to be Arnold big, and Liam Hemsworth, he can't put on muscle. Not as good as his brother can, anyway.
Magneto.
Yes, here we go.
Christoph Waltz.
No.
Why not?
Too quirky, mate. That's a bingo. You can't see him doing cool Magneto stuff. Why not come out where I can see you, Charles? No, it's not like that. These have some power and authority to him. He plays a lot of menace in the James Bond movies as whatever that guy, Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
What the hell's his character's name in
Blofeld?
that? Blofeld. Yeah. But, too quirky. He's too small, too weaselly.
What about Liam Neeson?
Too old, I think. Liam Neeson's a bit too old. Right, Magneto's an older character, eh?
Yeah, he had to go through the Holocaust. That's getting further and
but he
further
played
away.
Schindler's List.
He went through the Holocaust.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I'd say Liam Neeson would go good opposite Sam Neill. I thought maybe Liam Neeson might be better suited for Professor Xavier.
Yeah, you reckon?
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know. He's still looking pretty.
How about Jeremy Irons?
Nah, he played Alfred in Batman v Superman.
So he's out.
I think so. And yeah, Jeremy Irons. Let's have a look at him again. Nah, I think he works as the He's a little bit past where I want Magneto to be. Again, I'd bring Fassbender back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to me, Jeremy Irons, he's...
How about Jason Isaacs?
Ooh. Well, he's definitely been sticking around, hasn't he, since
He
the
has.
Patriot? Yeah, he's in one of the Star Trek sort of shows now, eh?
Yeah.
He could do a pretty good Magneto. I'd like to see him in a big movie role again.
How about 006? Sean Bean.
Alec Trevelyan. He's definitely powerful enough. I could see him as a pretty good Magneto as well.
So you didn't like James Bond as Professor X, though?
I know, that's a weird one, eh? Well, he's not James Bond.
Yeah, but that's what I said. It's against James Bond. Magneto, Professor X. So what about Pierce Brosnan as Professor X?
Pierce Brosnan as Professor X and Sean Bean as Magneto.
Yeah.
You know I'd be there. I'd be the first one to buy a ticket. Pierce Brosnan, I can't remember what he looks like.
What has he done lately?
He was in The Foreigner with Jackie Chan. That's the last thing I remember him in. He's too cool and suave. But he's like to me, I think he's the coolest James Bond.
Yeah.
He seems like the one who could pick up chicks the easiest by trying the least. So I don't see him as who'd you say he should play? Professor X?
Yeah.
Nah.
Bald in the chair.
I don't want to see him bald. He's got magnificent hair. I'd kill for
Not
his
shaving this hair, you're killing me.
Hello, Marge. His voice is hard to do.
Yes, I was Marge.
Yeah. Well, you do it really well. I can't get there. Something about it doesn't really speak out the side of his mouth. Money penny, I'm devastated.
Okay, moving on to Mr. Sinister, Bryan Cranston.
I'd say Pierce Brosnan as Mr. Sinister.
Right.
Just sliding him for the other. Yeah. He can play evil pretty good. He was in the Foreigner. He played a bit of a mean-spirited sort of guy. Because I could see him doing Sinister more than I could see him doing Professor X. But you said Bryan Cranston? Nah.
No?
Nah, I don't see him. I think Sinister needs to be a bit more timeless, a bit more sleek, like a bit more immortal, vampiric sort of thing. So you might have to go young with him, like a mid-30s sort of guy.
Right.
I wouldn't cast someone older as Mr. Sinister.
Next guy we've got is Iceman.
Bobby Drake.
First one, Andrew Garfield.
Nah, I hate Andrew Garfield. Fuck off, Garfield.
Why do you hate Garfield?
It's like, what's Corey's catchphrase? Shut up, Garfield. No, it's Crawford's catchphrase. Shut up, Garfield. I don't like him, man. I thought he was an awful Spider. He's the worst Spider-Man.
But he's not playing Spider-Man. He's playing Iceman.
I want to like Iceman. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I thought the last Iceman was really boring.
It's very vanilla, isn't he? He's very flat.
He's not like the animated series. He's really cool.
Yeah.
You got to be cool to be Iceman.
You got to be cool. Well, who's the more cool people? You think Andrew Garfield is cool?
Of course he is.
What makes you say that? No way. You're just having me on.
All right. How about Lucas Hedges?
Lucas Hedges.
He's in Manchester by the Sea and Lady Bird. There's a lot of these people in Lady Bird. He was also in 3 Billboards.
Absolutely. No, he's too ugly.
It's too ugly.
Look at the head on him, mate. He looks like Havoc. Havoc was... You remember Havoc from He's a weird-looking bloke. I'm not Lucas Hedges. He's not cool-looking.
How about Dan M. Boyer?
He could be multiple man.
All right.
You got a picture of him up?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like a multiple man to me.
Okay.
Sort of a smarmy sort of smart ass sort of character. Too cool for schools, working the selfies and the slick back hair. That's multiple man.
The last Iceman I got here is Dylan O'Brien. He's on the Maze Runner.
Side smiler. He looks a lot like the last Iceman. Yeah, he could pull it off. He definitely looks the part. But is he good at being a sort of cool Iceman?
I don't know. I've never seen him in anything.
I've never seen him in anything either.
All right, next one we got is Multiple Man.
Mm-hmm.
And the name that's always attached to that is Franco.
No.
And
Dan M. Boyer. That's my guy. That's my multiple man.
The only other multiple man is Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I'd like to see Joseph Gordon-Levitt in some stuff.
Robin.
Oh, what an awful way to finish a movie. Eh? You should use your real name, Robin. Ugh, shut up. Shut up. What a piss poor way to end a movie. I didn't really like Dark Knight Rises anyway, but that just made it worse. Know what I mean? Well, when people think of Dark Knight Rises, they don't think of Joseph Gordon-Levitt, so he can sort of get away with that. And when he was in Looper and he was playing like a Bruce Willis sort of style, he had a good smart-ass smile to him. So mate, I reckon he's got the... And then, did you see Don John? Yeah. If that's what he's doing, if he brought that energy to Multiple Man, he'd nail it. He'd absolutely nail that as Multiple Man. See, I only get excited about characters I love. And Multiple Man suddenly become my guy from X Factor. So I reckon Joseph Gordon-Levitt could do it. He could really nail that, but would he be interested in doing that? Probably not. So Dan Amboya is my Multiple Man.
So the last one we got is Kitty Pryde. So we bring Kitty Pryde in. The first one is Millie Bobby Brown.
She played 11.
Yeah.
Well, if she ever ran into Deadpool, he'd say she looked like 11. Sure, why not? I'm sure she could pull it off. 16 years old. She's very young. Looks the part. Kitty Pryde. I don't know too much about the character because she wasn't in the animated series. I only know her from the X-Men movies, and she only really does stuff in X-Men 3.
The next
calls Juggernaut a dickhead.
The next Kitty Pryde is another one from Stranger Things, Natalia Dyer.
Oh, she looks like a baby. She's very, she looks very young, but she's older than the other one. Very sharp chin, very sharp, strong jawline. Maybe. I think Kitty Pryde's like in the same boat as Jubilee. She's one of the super young ones.
Yeah.
See, her and Jubilee is always one of the students.
Yeah, these are the ones in Spider-Man's class.
Yeah. So probably not Natalia Dyer, the one before that.
How about
Millie Bobby Brown?
Olivia Cook. She was in Ready Player One.
Yeah, she could pull it off. You could play up the partnership again if Ty Sheridan's back and she comes in as they're sort of the same age, eh? So if you're going for young X-Men, I'd pair these two up.
Yep.
And if you're going older X-Men, Cyclops would be the bloke from Game of Thrones. But yeah, Olivia Cook, yeah, she could do it.
Next one is Joey King.
Oh, I know Joey King. She played the kid version of Talia al Ghul from Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, she seems like she could, if the Kitty Pryde character is going to be a lead, I think put Joey King in there because she's a very talented actress and because she shaved her head so many times, she's willing to really put the effort in to knowing and learning about the character. But I don't see Kitty Pryde as a lead sort of actor, so I don't know if you'd put Joey in there.
So the last one I've got for Kitty Pryde is Catherine Newton. So she's from Pokemon Detective Pikachu, and she's also in Blockers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, she's cool. I saw her in Blockers. I thought she was funny. Kitty Pryde, she's blonde in this, though. Always dye her hair. But, yeah, she's the sort of... She doesn't strike me as like a leading lady. So she could probably be a good support Kitty Pryde.
So there you go. You can make your selections from those people.
Sounded a pretty interesting segment.
Yeah.
Shut up and take my money.
All right, it's time for some mutant merch. Have you got anything, Brooksy? Because none of my Marvel Legends are out yet.
They're not out yet?
Nah, not yet. Just waiting on the Age of Apocalypse, Wolverine and Beast, and that'll be me.
Right. Yeah, it's, yesterday I got 2 new pops. The new Gambit and Toad.
First time in the line for Gambit, eh?
Yes, so this is actually the 3rd one they released of him.
Oh, okay.
It's the first one I received.
Oh, okay.
So there's 2. The other 2 are him throwing cards, and there's one of him throwing cards that's glow in the dark.
You would have thought that Gambit would have been released sooner because it seems like a layup.
Yeah.
If you're doing X-Men, you got to do everyone that's in the animated series and the most popular characters, and Gambit's always had a very strong following. And
Definitely.
now that he's only just getting a pop is madness to me. So they were doing a mad rush on getting him.
Him and Rogue are on the way. So
Rogue's still not out.
Rogue's still not out.
And another layup, man. It's easy, mate.
Running out.
Low-hanging fish, mate.
I do have a big list of pop vinyls they don't have from the X-Men. We can go through that one day if you want.
Oh, absolutely. Bring it up for the next Marvel mutant merch.
For sure.
All right, let's take it home. Find our podcast on iTunes, Podcast Addict, Pocket Casters, Stitcher, and YouTube. Subscribe, rate us, and give us a review. Like and share our page on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Gen X-Men Pod for Meme Monday, Marvel Movie News, and Figure Friday. Or you can body slide into our Facebook DMs or contact us by email, generationxmenpodcast@gmail.com. Send us in questions for Q&A, anything Marvel or X-Men related you'd like us to bang on about. So what's up for us next time, Brooks?
The next episode is number 40, Season 3, Episode 11, with Airbender. It's the Dark Phoenix Saga, Part 1, Dazzled.
Shit just got real.
Oh, it did.
Do you think when they were coming up with the season that they wanted the exact halfway point to be Dark Phoenix?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? It's just happened by chance?
I think it did, because half of them, you remember, they lost
were delayed. Yeah,
so,
they were delayed episodes. Plus, I also remember thinking going back, like they didn't think they'd get like past the first season, so they went all in on like Final Decision.
Yep.
I imagine the pipe dream would have been though, oh, let's do something big halfway.
Yeah.
But Dark Phoenix Saga, oh, Phoenix, we're there. We're there. All right, that's it from us here at Generation X-Men. Wherever you are in the world, thanks for listening, and we hope you had a decent shot of X-Men nostalgia. Next week, we've got the Dark Phoenix Saga Part 1, Dazzled, with breakdown, tally time, claw draw, mutant merch, and maybe Marvel movie news. Like the Terminator, we'll be back, and we look forward to your company then. Thanks for hosting, Brooksy.
No worries, Ben. Take it easy, mate.
Hasta la vista.
See ya.